The dust on Old Pilgrim Road never truly settles. It waits. Bran Embergrove walked the center of the track, his boots sinking into the gray silt. He wore the iron of a soldier, but he carried the posture of a man who knows when to run. The road stretched out like a scar across the valley. He had been gone for many moons, perhaps 82, or perhaps only a winter. Time is unsteady in the borderlands. He stopped at the waymarker, a stone worn smooth by hands that no longer lived. He did not touch it. He knew better. The wind carried the smell of wet charcoal and something older, something that lived in the roots of the twisted trees. Bran adjusted his pack. He was not here to conquer. He was here because the pattern of his life had folded back on itself, pulling him to the place where his blood first spilled. He checked the road ahead. Empty. He checked the road behind. Empty. He walked on. The silence was heavy, a physical weight against his ears. He remembered the drills, the spear work, the mindless labor of the guard. It was easier then. The world was smaller. Now, the horizon felt like a mouth opening. A crow watched from a dead branch, its head tilted, waiting for him to stumble. He did not stumble. He was too careful for that. He was a man who survived by not being where the blade fell. He found the shrine in the hollow of a hill. It was not a holy place for the living. The air was cold, colder than the stone should allow. Bran knelt. He was not a pious man, but fear is a kind of prayer. He lit a candle. The flame did not flicker. It stood straight up, a solid line of yellow light. He had been reading the old tales, the accounts of the first settlers. They spoke of a reckoning, a tally kept in the dark. He felt it now. A heat in his blood that did not belong to him. The illness came in the night, 2 watches after the moon had set. It was not a fever of the body. It was a fever of the mind. He saw shapes in the darkness of his room. They were not monsters. They were geometries, impossible angles that hurt to look at. He lay on his pallet sweating, his hands gripping the rough wool. He whispered the names of the dead. He whispered his own name. The sound of it felt foreign. The walls of the room seemed to breathe, shrinking and expanding with a rhythm that matched his heart. He knew he had been marked. The omen had broken against him. He tried to stand, but his legs were water. He was a soldier, a man of cunning and strategy, but there is no strategy against the inevitable. The candle burned down to the wick. The darkness rushed in, not as an absence of light, but as a presence. Wayne Thornwood came with herbs and quiet hands. She did not ask what was wrong. She knew. She pressed a poultice to his forehead. The smell was mint and rot. Bran felt the heat leave him, but the cold remained. It was a cold that lived in the marrow. He thanked her. He lied to her. He told her he was well. He stood by the window. The sky was the color of bruised iron. Many dusks had passed, 40 perhaps since he arrived, but the light was failing faster now. The shadows were lengthening, stretching across the floor like grasping fingers. The birds had stopped singing. The wine had died. The world was holding its breath. He heard it then. A sound in the yard. The crunch of bone on gravel. He knew that sound. It was the beast. It had found him. It had always been finding him. His life was not a line. It was a circle. He had walked this road before. He had died in this yard before. The realization hit him with the force of a blow. He grabbed his spear. His hands were shaking. Not from fear but from recognition. The door groaned. The wood splintered. He did not run. Where would he go? The world is small. The pattern is tight. He thought of his loyalty, his service to a banner that meant nothing now. He thought of his cunning, his ability to outthink opponents who played by rules. This thing played no rules. It was the end of the cycle. The door gave way. The smell of the beast filled the room. It smelled like the grave. It smelled like time. Bran raised the spear. He knew it would not matter. The chronicle was already written. It was just the ink drying on the page. The beast moved faster than thought. It was a blur of fur and teeth. It was the dark made flesh. There was no pain at first. Only a sudden terrible lightness. Then the heat. The iron taste filled his mouth. He looked down. His chest was open. The redness of it shocked him. It was so bright against the gray floor. He fell. The spear clattered away, useless. The beast stood over him, its breath steaming in the cold air. It did not roar. It watched. It was waiting for the light to leave his eyes. Bran tried to speak. He wanted to say a name. Any name. But his throat was full. He thought of the road. He thought of the dust. He thought of the waymarker stone. He understood now. He was not the traveler. He was the marker. He was the thing that other travelers would avoid. The darkness crept in at the edges of his vision. It was not an enemy. It was a homecoming. The beast lowered its head. The last thing Bran Embergrove felt was the wet tongue of the predator cleaning the wound. The record closed. The bells rang out from the village, many bells, 71 or more, signaling the end of the watch. The room was still. The blood was drying, turning black in the dim light. The door stood open, framing the empty road. Then a shadow fell across the threshold. It was not the beast. It was a woman, Cora Embergrove, a smith by trade. She carried a hammer in one hand and a ledger in the other. She stepped over the broken wood. She did not scream. She did not weep. She looked at the body on the floor. She looked at the book on the table, the one Bran had been reading. She set the hammer down. She opened the book. She began to read the first page, her lips moving silently, tracing the words that would lead her to the same end.